Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Purposely. Today, I'm here with Mia Klitsas, who is the founder of Moxie, which is a brand that most women out there have probably heard about, I would imagine. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a really nice way to spend a otherwise very dreary Friday in Melbourne. So it's nice to chat.
Exactly. I think that we were just chatting before we jumped online about us being in stage 4 restrictions and the impact that it's had. And yeah, it's really crazy. But before we go there, let's talk about something fun, which is if you're at a dinner party or a barbecue and someone says, "Oh,
remember dinner parties?"
I know. What are they?
What are they?
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine? I just want to go out to a really nice restaurant and have a beautiful lunch or dinner with my mate.
Oh, such a treat.
Such a treat. So anyway, when we lived in times when that was possible and someone said, "Oh, hi Mia, nice to meet you. What do you do?" How do you explain what you do?
You know what? It depends who I'm speaking to, because sometimes I like to have a bit of fun with people, and a lot of people don't usually expect me to say what I do say, which is that I have a personal care brand. But if I want to shock people, often, particularly men who ask, I just say, I make tampons. And then, again, depending on the audience, I might tell them that I roll them myself, but which I don't. I absolutely don't. That's not true.
Not. Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, I have a personal care brand. So I would say that my purpose is to help people have easier periods, ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a nutshell, that's the elevator pitch.
That's the elevator pitch, and a very necessary product. But I guess I would love to hear the story of Mia. So how the hell did you decide that you were going to start Moxie? And, let's go right back to the start. I like to hear about people's childhoods and who influenced them and just their kind of story and journey, the backstory.
It was a long time ago, like a really long time ago. Well, Moxie's been around for 15 years. Plus. Yeah. So we started the business in 2005 and then launched the Moxie brand in Feb 2006. So it all happened pretty quickly. But it's funny, someone asked me the other day, like, did you always know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur? And I kind of always struggled with the term entrepreneur. With all respect to people that champion it, like, you do you, like, good for you. But it's always felt a bit weird for me. And to be honest, well into my business, I didn't even know what the word meant, really. I didn't even know what being an entrepreneur meant. But I did grow up in a household where I guess, we ran family business, and my dad had his own knitting mill. So he was a knitwear manufacturer locally in Melbourne. From the time he was 19, he had his own business.
Wow.
And so, I grew up in that environment. I grew up going to work with him. I was well aware of the very long hours that he worked and having to get up in the middle of the night because a machine had stopped running and he'd have to go fix it. And so I was kind of well aware of the hustle and understood that from a young age, but also didn't really know any differently. Obviously, I understood that people had different types of careers, but I guess I never sort of feared hard work or irregularity in my career in terms of hours, balance, and all that. So I think when the idea for Moxie came about, which really stemmed from a personal pain point of just ultimately having personal care products always rolling around in the bottom of my handbag.
Oh my God!
Everyone says that. Like, everyone has a whole story about tampon falling out, or you're out in public and it rolls out of your bag. The best story I heard was a woman who accidentally dropped her handbag while she was getting on the bus, and a tampon like rolled down the aisle in the bus. I thought, and that happens. It actually happened to me earlier this year. I was out with a big group of girlfriends out for dinner, and I was, as you can tell, I was talking a lot using my hands, and my handbag literally tipped upside down. but a Moxie tin rolled out. It was one of these. Oh, there
we go. There it is. Yep.
So the idea was to package personal care products in something that was a bit more robust, that would stop them falling out in your handbag, or if they did, it was going to perhaps cause a bit less damage, a bit less embarrassment. And so we developed this range of what was first tampons in recyclable and refillable tins, and the brand was called Moxie, which means, the word Moxie actually means to have guts, determination, courage. And as a 20-something-year-old, I was 21, 22 when we kicked off. It very much felt like I was going to need a lot of that to to pursue this. But I think just having that sort of upbringing and not being afraid of hard work, I was just kind of ready to give it a go. And I thought, well, I'll give it a crack. And as you do, like, we'll just go launch a business and buy a container worth of tampons. It'll be fine. And so I think starting when I was in my early 20s too, I was pretty green, and in hindsight it was probably a good thing, because I was a bit fearless. I was fearless, and I just went for it. So I mean, gosh, here we still are. So that's kind of in a nutshell how it all kicked off.
Amazing. I love it. I love hearing stories like that, and that's what this show is about. And do you know what? I remember when Moxie launched, and I straight away bought some, because I was like, oh my God, thank God. Finally, I don't have to carry around those cardboard things that don't close and have tampons rolling around in my bag. And also, I just thought it looked really pretty and a bit sexy, the little tins, just a bit vintage.
Yeah, that was a big part of it. Was at the time, particularly, everything on the shelf was quite clinical. I mean, we're talking 15, 16 years ago.
Blue.
Yeah, everything's blue. Blue, or it's wrapped in plastic. It's just not really. I guess there was a functionality issue in terms of it being convenient and easy to carry, but then also everything looked really daggy and really clinical. And I thought to myself, this is the one product that we really need to carry all the time.
All the time.
So I guess, I wanted to take more of a beauty approach to it. So beautiful perfume bottles and lipsticks and, beautiful things that we love to carry around with us. Why should our personal care products be any different? And I felt like at the time, no one had really thought about it like that. It was treated as quite a commodity. It was like, you have a period, here, use this, it'll be fine. But I just, I don't know, I thought there was room to perhaps take a little bit more care and thought in the process. And so, that's what we did.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. Let's delve into something a little bit different now. So how did you find the journey of, you start off, as any business owner starts off having an idea, and you're kind of doing everything, and now you're probably
still doing everything.
More of a CEO role, and transitioning between being how did you manage that? How did you upskill yourself?
And that's actually really true. I absolutely learnt on the job. I was a uni student when I started. I was actually interning, so I was working in new product development. So I was starting to learn about brand, but this is essentially my first real job. And so I didn't know. I mean, I feel like I was really passionate about brand, and I loved marketing and developing products and coming up with, creative ideas, and all that kind of stuff was, not that I had it sorted, but I was passionate enough about it to really just pursue it and get better at it as I went. But I knew nothing about running a business, zero. Things like budgets and cash flow and all like that, they don't teach you that stuff at uni. They don't teach you that stuff really, unless you seek it. And that's probably what was missing. And, even still today, but I think I've learned over the years that get people on board who are better at those things than you are. So I learned really that I was not good at cash flow. I didn't really understand how to model it. I was much better on the creative side. And so my first hire was an accountant and someone that could help support me in that role, because I was just, spinning my wheels otherwise. So, but I just think the entire journey and business changes so rapidly. I mean, even for us, we've we've been through the GFC and now coronavirus. Like there's been a few kind of big impactful crises, I guess you could call them, in our business journey. And throughout all of it, like are you ever really prepared? I don't know. So you're kind of, dare I say, it's such a buzzword at the moment, but it's hard to not use it. Pivot. You're just learning to pivot all the time and educate yourself in new technologies. Like, so for the moment, I feel like for so many businesses, it's going to be all about e-commerce and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've just really tried to surround myself with people who are a positive influence in the skills that I want to learn more about. So yeah, it's very much a learn as you go type situation. I really like to kind of dispel all the myths about having your own business and being a business owner or a CEO or whatever. It's people often tend to think that you've got it all worked out, and it's kind of quite glamorized. But yeah, it's not. Well, maybe I haven't figured it out yet. But yeah, look, it's challenging. But at the same time, I really welcome that, because for me, it keeps me motivated, and it reminds me that I'm pushing myself. Like if I'm feeling challenged, then okay, I've still got fuel in the tank. So I've still got quite a few, lots to learn and quite a lot left in me. So yeah.
Awesome. So how many employees have you grown the business to now? Like how big are you?
It's so funny. Someone asked me this yesterday, and they're like, "You just must have a massive team." And I'm like, "Well, it depends how you define massive." But we're 5 at the moment. So we were 8 at one point. We do outsource a lot, obviously, so we don't manufacture ourselves. But yeah, it's a really nice kind of tight team and tight family. And look, I mean, yes, I would love to have, triple the amount of people, but it's just not workable, unfortunately, at the moment. But yeah, we've obviously got extended teams and external consultants and stuff that we work with. So yeah, it's kind of nice. It's nice. It's always very much been small business vibe. I mean, it still is a small business, but it's always really been that kind of vibe. Like, it's funny when you ask me actually like what I would tell people I do at a barbecue, because it depends what day it is. Like recently, I've been packing online orders and taking the bins out and picking up the post, and at the same time I'll be like putting a pitch deck together for a retailer, and so it's so varied. So everyone kind of, everyone just, does what they need to do when they need to. So there's kind of some crossover of the roles, which is nice, because I'm a big believer in that anyone can have a good idea. And sometimes it takes people outside of their own role to, it's like an outside in type approach where you often see things that others may not. So yeah, we really kind of foster a culture of, openness and ideas generation, and sharing that like quite constantly, which has been really good.
I love that. I've at HR Gurus, we only have a team of 5 people, and I remember I started my business 10 years ago, and originally I was like, I want to have like a massive team and have like 100 people. I want to have the biggest HR consulting firm in the whole of Australia. And then now I look back and I just laugh, because I'm so happy with my small little team.
Yeah, and I would say one of the biggest challenges of running a business is managing a team, managing staff. I guess finding the right people, keeping the right people. Like it is its own. It's definitely its own beast, and it's hard to do if you're a business owner. Like I said, doing all those other tasks and then being the HR department as well. And I use that loosely with respect for the professionals, because certainly I'm not an HR professional, but as a business owner, you're kind of forced to be. But I find that really, really challenging. So as exciting as it is to grow a team, it's scary as well, because that obviously comes with a whole heap of other challenges.
Yes, I can imagine. So let's talk about COVID and how that has impacted your business, because we were talking about it a bit before we jumped online. So tampons, obviously an essential service, like you are still a permitted industry.
Yes.
So how has it impacted you? What's been the some of the upside and the downside of this whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, look, I guess the upside is that we are an essential, and so people still need our product, and we're very proud to be able to provide it, and very quickly too. So the minute COVID hit, we pretty much turned on free express same day shipping on our website, because we were conscious that periods aren't going to wait for anybody. Periods aren't going to wait for a pandemic. It's going to happen. And particularly with, people, whether people are self-isolating or not able to get to the shops. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, like a lot of people are still, going out and able to go to the supermarket, but people that are immunosuppressed or people that just don't feel comfortable being out, we're sort of saying, stay on the couch. Like, we can come to you and it's completely contactless and we can get it to you really quickly. So we pretty much get things to people overnight, which is great. So from that perspective, it's been good. Yeah, and like I said, it's kept our cogs turning and it's kept our supply chain in motion, which is important because it's beyond just, our little bubble. It's all of our suppliers and all the other people in the chain as well. And I think that's really important too. So yeah, really, really grateful that we've been able to continue. It has been challenging, obviously, having people work from home. So yeah, I mean that, but everyone's in the same boat really. But I guess on the flip side, one of the most challenging things for us probably has been supply, like on our end, so getting supply. So thankfully we've got lots of stock in the warehouse. We always carry quite a fair amount of stock because we supply major retailers, and so we have to carry a lot. But if we're wanting to manufacture anything new, we might run into some problems because a lot of the raw materials that we use on our products get used to make face masks and gowns and things like that. So there's a shortage of a lot of those materials. We recently launched a pattern liner range with a touch of silk in the top sheet, which makes it really soft, and silk's actually really breathable as well. But there's a real shortage of silk in the world at the moment, and so even if you can get it, the cost of that raw material is through the roof. So we're going to face some real challenges, just being able to source our product and have it manufactured, but just the cost of it is, I don't know, it might be prohibitive to even be able to purchase it and on-sell it because the margins are really slim in this kind of category. It's a fast consumer goods. It's like it's a grocery item. There's not a lot of fat in it. So that's going to be our challenge. And also things like freight, like the cost of freight has gone up a heap as well.
Yeah.
So, those are going to be the things kind of in like the behind the scenes side is more where the challenge is. So yes, there's a demand for our product, but can we get it and can we provide it at a reasonable price? So it's going to be interesting. The next little while is going to be interesting, but you can only work with what you've got at the time. So yeah, doing a lot of planning at the moment. Plan A, B, C, D, E, Z. Yeah.
If only the government had have done that like effectively, that would have been quite handy. Like I just feel like this whole stage 4 thing it feels very, very unorganised and not well thought out. Like I think that they would have had stage 4 ready to go. Like that's what contingency planning is, right?
I just think I feel for the businesses who cannot, also on individuals, but from a business perspective, like those businesses that tool up and then have to tool down again. Like there's costs associated with that. So, particularly hospitality businesses who were told, hey, you can reopen business as usual. And so they've ordered up stock and food and perishables and things like that, only to be told within a matter of weeks you need to close again. And, things like that can really sink a small business. So, I feel like for me, that's been the thing where I just feel like we've failed. We've failed each other in that respect. Not to mention what's going on in a lot of other sectors, but it's just, it's not easy to just turn it on and off like a tap,
No. And the other thing that I think a lot of businesses are struggling with is keeping their employees motivated and connected. So what are some of your strategies that you've used in your small team? Because you told me just before that you're actually working in the warehouse at the moment. You're the only person that's in the office, which I think is amazing as a CEO, getting your hands dirty. Good on you. But
you learn so much about your business and where the gaps are as well. So even just repacking packing boxes. I'm like, oh, these stickers aren't sticky enough, and so you actually learn more about your business. So I'm actually loving it. But yeah,
sorry, too, I imagine.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It's nice, put the headphones in, listen to a podcast, and get working. How do we stay motivated? Oh, look, it's hard. I'm not going to lie, it's hard, and I think perhaps just even acknowledging that it's difficult, and we're kind of like we are family here. I mean, I do actually work with some family, which is quite beautiful, but just having those open and honest discussions, and just saying, how are you feeling? And if you're feeling rubbish, that's okay. Like, it's okay to, I think we often, just as Aussies, I think we're kind of very good at saying, like, oh, but other people have got it worse. We'll be right. It's all right. We'll get on.
Yep.
We're a bit sort of self-deprecating like that, but sometimes it's important to acknowledge what you're going through. And I think mental health at the moment is so, so, so important, and I'm really conscious of it. And it's something we talk about a lot, because even during coronavirus, like the suicide rates are just, they're outnumbering the corona deaths, or the deaths from coronavirus.
Yeah.
So I think just being really understanding of where people are at, and I constantly, tell people and tell my team, like, we're not robots.
Yeah.
We're not robots, like, we're human. So, we just need to be open and honest with each other. But, regular check-ins, Zoom has been really great, but sometimes people they get a bit over Zoom. So
yeah,
I think just being flexible and being kind to each other has been very important. But again, I think what's motivating for us is the fact that we still have a business and we're able to trade, and we will come out of it. Like, it's going to be different, and there's going to be challenges for sure, and there are challenges, but the whole point is that we need to, like, work through it now, because we're going to come out the other side, and we want to be ready. So, forward planning, and, having everyone kind of get involved in, strategic planning and generating ideas and coming up with new ideas. There's always work to be done. It's just, kind of trying to motivate people to, that this will pass, and it's going to be fine at the other end. We're all still going to have jobs, which is really the most important thing. So
that's right. But how do you keep motivated, and have you felt the pressure and the stress of these times more so than ever? Like, can you just talk us a bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think from like lockdown version 1.0 really hit me hard. I had this moment. I remember I was driving to work, and it was kind of all like everything just kind of came rushing in at once. Like, the news, it was all over the news, and like it was crazy. And I remember sitting in the car and I was listening to the news, and I thought to myself, it just dawned on me that this thing is like, there's no escape from this. It's not like, oh, gee, I've had a rough week. It's time for a holiday. I need to take a day off. There's none of that. This is happening globally. We cannot escape it. And I kind of felt this real sense of, like, it was really unsettling, to say the least.
Yeah. And
it was oh my gosh, what about my business? What about my team? What about my mental health? What about, so many of my close friends are immunosuppressed. And oh my gosh, what about them? They're so vulnerable. And it was just all like, just such an influx and a gamut of emotions. And I really struggled with it. And I said to my husband, I said, I'm actually really scared. And he said, me too. And whoa. And when he said me too, I was like, oh, that's it. We're all stuffed. Because, sometimes, you look to people who are kind of, I guess sometimes your anchors. When you're doing that stuff, there are people around you who are like your support network and your anchors. And when your anchors are going, it's a mess.
You're like,
really unsettling. So, but I think I just kind of, I don't know, I can be a bit of a catastrophizer at the best of times. I'm always like, worst case scenario.
A bit dramatic?
Just a bit. My parents would probably agree with that. More so, I'm just like, what if?
Yeah.
And I'm like I was talking to some friends last night. I'm all about the plan Z.
Yeah.
So everything goes ass up. Like, what's plan Z? What's the worst possible scenario? And what is the plan for that?
Yeah.
And if you're ready for the disaster plan, like that generally never really happens. Like it's actually so rare that things get that dire that you have to execute your plan Z. But if you're prepared for that, anything, you know, isn't like, it's never that bad. So anything else you like anything else, that comes your way, you can generally deal with because it's nowhere near your plan Z. And my plan Z is like, oh my God, I lose everything. Literally lose everything, lose my house. But okay, cool. I'll be healthy. That's the main thing. And I'll just, I'll have to start again and I'm not sugarcoating that. And that happens for a lot of people. And unfortunately that probably will happen to a lot of people during this. But I don't know. I just think we've got to keep pushing. We have to.
That's it. It's like, it sounds corny and I'm kind of sick of hearing people say this, but it's like you've just got to be grateful for the small things and what you have. And like my husband and I were talking about it last night. I run a HR consulting business and we're in demand at the moment. Like we actually had a really good month last month. And my husband's a carpenter, so he can work, he can leave, he can go further than 5 kilometers past by our house. So he's lucky. I kind of feel jealous.
Yeah.
So we're very lucky. And
it's true.
There still is this feeling of uncertainty though, which is really hard for me being a business owner because you feel you obviously feel responsible for your own world, but then you have employees and I start thinking about when I'm lying in bed, my employees, like, what if I couldn't pay them and they couldn't pay their mortgages and they got kids? Like, it's just this, it's like you've got this backpack on and you're carrying it around.
It is a lot. Yeah. It's a lot to carry. It really, really is. And I again, so I think it's important to acknowledge that we do carry a lot as business owners. Because you're not only a business owner, like you said, you've got a husband and you've got family, and a lot of people have got children and dependents, people that rely on you, whether that's family or a team or whatever else. And so it is a lot to carry. But I've actually been keeping, again, this sounds a bit cheesy too, but I've been keeping a little, it's not even a gratitude journal, but just in the back of my notebook that I just carry around with me for work. In the back of it, I just write one thing a day that's good.
Yeah, great advice.
And it could be the tiniest thing, like, so-and-so is feeling better today.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. So, and occasionally, like if I'm having a down day or I'm having a moment of kind of isolation, like, if I'm in the office and, I'm by myself and it's weird because it's a big office and it's usually bustling and there's noise and it feels really strange being in here alone.
Yeah.
I just, I go through that little notebook and I just read those little one-liners and I'm like, things can be good. They have been good and they'll be good again.
Yeah, great perspective there.
Yeah, always little silver linings. So it's balance, like important to acknowledge that things are a bit rough, but there's got to be silver linings.
Yeah, surely. And I think this surely, please, like this will end. Like, I guess when this is all over, what's the first thing that you're going to do, Mia?
Hug people.
Oh, yes. Yep, I'm such a hugger.
Hugging people.
Yeah.
I really hugging people. It's so weird, but just human touch. I guess that probably, physical touch is probably one of my love languages. I didn't think it was, but I think maybe it is.
You worked it out.
Yeah, I figured it out all this time. Yeah. Yeah, little things like that. Just, it's so weird. Actually, such a funny story. A friend of mine sent me a photo of us in Italy 3 years ago.
Oh.
In Sardinia, in the water, loving life, not a care in the world, arms in the air, like just having a great time. And she sent me this photo and she said, tell these people that in 3 years, they're going to be wearing face masks. They're going to be locked in their houses.
Wow.
They will tell you that you're mad. And I thought, my God, imagine, like, yeah. Like it's really unfathomable. So, I just think little things like, holidays and, hugging people, being in public.
It's just weird. I think how much we undervalue or underappreciate things. And Facebook's a great thing at sharing memories. And I've got a 7-year-old son, and there's just all these memories popping up of when he was a baby and when he was like 2 years old and these videos. And so every day I post that and I'm like, a bit of joy in your feed rather than doom and gloom. But it's like looking back on that time, like I thought it was really hard. I was trying to work, I had a toddler, but I just think like, God, it was just so simple.
I know.
So simple.
It's really it's kind of just really shone a light on what is really important.
Correct.
And I personally, I again, the catastrophizer, had that moment of, gee, what if everything goes under? Like, what if, I don't know, like something happens and just everything goes under? And I just sort of thought to myself, well, if I go down with the ship, like it's not going to be for lack of trying.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, like what matters? Okay, well, I'll still be here.
Yeah.
Just,
It's crazy. I had those thoughts too about like what happens if my business folds and like the whole economy folds.
Yeah, exactly. Like
what am I going to do? It's like, well, I can get a job. I'm not proud. I'll go and clean toilets if I have to. Like, I'm not going to say, oh well, I was a entrepreneur or I was the CEO of a business, so I'm too good to go and work at McDonald's. Like literally, if that was the only job there, I would do that.
That's a dream. 3 nuggets. Hello.
Cheeseburgers for me. Cheeseburgers for me.
Oh, I love a good cheeky cheeseburger. A good cheeky ISO cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Actually, confession. 11:45 p.m. on a Sunday night, I had a craving for Macca's, and I had it delivered. It was the best decision I've made in a long time.
There you go, guys. There is no shame in getting Uber Eats McDonald's. Like there has been like there has been a few times when I've got it in the morning and I've thought, well, this is a low point in my life. Like I've got Uber Eats McDonald's. But
it sounds to me like you're doing it right.
Whatever floats your boat. Well, we might leave it there, Mia. It was amazing to talk to you. Thanks for sharing your story and some really good wisdom about how your business is surviving.
We are doing our best. Yeah, thank you. Very, very lucky to have a supportive local community, and I think that's the thing is to, support with your choices, and that's how local businesses are going to survive, I guess, and we can all take part in that. So, yeah.
That's it. So buy Moxie. It's an Australian-owned business.
Yep.
Unlike Libra and and some of the bigger brands. So amazing work. Thank you so much. Amazing product, and I've really enjoyed meeting you today.
Me too. Thanks for having me.
No problems. And we'll share all Mia's handles if you want to check her out or visit Moxie. And if you're at home right now and can't get to the supermarket, they're doing free delivery. So great initiative. There we go. It even comes in a pretty box, like you're getting something, a present.
Exactly. A present to yourself, from yourself.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.